one of the coolest things in Star Citizen, but also something that I touched on earlier today and what we were talking about watching a different video was the guns in Star Citizen. Insane detail. Like, you can even see the rounds inside the barrel and stuff. It's crazy. And actually, I didn't even realize this. The title of this video we're going to watch is titled The Insane Details of Every Gun in Star Citizen from LevelCapGaming. I'm looking forward to this because there's so many guns in the game. They're all really cool. I just wish there was... I wish the guns were, like, more enjoyable to use in the game. So let's see what Level has to say about all the insane detail on the guns in the game.
A ton of really cool futuristic firearms, and today we're going to be taking a look at every single one of them. Now, because Star Citizen's universe takes place in humanity's future, a lot of the design cues are based on modern human tech, which leads to a lot of weapons and rifles that look fairly similar to modern day guns. But there's plenty of outliers and exceptions to this rule, like the Salvo Frag pistol that feels very alien. It comes from a hybrid design, blending human elements with the Banu's design style. Unfortunately though, it's the only gun made by the manufacturer Hedeby Gunworks, a company known for blending hand forging and machining together. Functionally, it's a pistol with a charge shot mode that does enough damage to basically hit enemies like a semi-truck. Think the noisy cricket pistol from...
What it does is these two things on the side break the round up, and it becomes a shotgun pellets, essentially.
Men in Black. It's a powerful and somewhat versatile firearm, but the aesthetic aspects of it are where this gun really shines. It's an elegant and complex design with beautiful curves, clean details, and a broken reload animation at the moment. Now, taking a look at a totally different sidearm, the Uberev is manufactured by Lightning Bolt Co. And as their name implies, this thing shoots electrons, aka lightning bolts. The Uberev's design has this kind of pseudo-Soviet Fallout look to it that fits Star Citizen's sci-fi setting really well without being totally alien.
So I hope he shows the really interesting element of these lightning guns, because if you stand a little too close, you might get shocked.
Like the Salvo. The pistol has a battery-style magazine and really cool visible internals. They're easy to miss, but if you look closely, there's a whole assembly constantly spinning inside the gun that actuates when you fire. And the thing that truly makes this weapon unique is its ability to arc electricity between adjacent enemies. I'm curious to see if these types of weapons become more valuable in boarding engagements to reduce internal damage while still being effective against your opponent. Now, on the more...
And he also missed a little something there, too. You charge up the, I guess, the distortion damage or something like that, on the lightning damage on the weapon. And if you do, you can see it there at the end when he shoots the first player. Let's see if I can find it for you.
Become more valuable in boarding engagement.
Right here. Watch after he hits him. I think the third shot is what creates the explosion. You'll see it, and then the character here will get kind of knocked back a little bit. So it's also kind of a grenade, which is
to
cool.
Reduce internal damage while still being effective against your opponent. Now, on the more terrestrial side of things, we have the Arclight pistol. This firearm looks like a slightly futuristic take on modern designs, but instead of bullets, it shoots lasers. And when I refer to lasers in this video, I'm talking about sci-fi lasers, not actual lasers that travel the speed of light, but more like those red streaky bullets you might see in Star Wars. Now, I find the Arclight to be a really pleasant, fun, and reliable firearm. The manufacturer's Claws and Verner sell a variety of other firearms and even highly popular ship-based weapons, such as laser repeaters.
Yeah, pistol only Star Marine with this gun is super fun.
Used on light and heavier spacecraft. Now, one of the bigger weapon makers in the verse is Bearing, and their S38 pistol is a 10mm traditional kinetic gun that looks like something you might find at a gun shop today. It's a classic no-frills design that shoots regular old bullets and also packs a pretty nice punch. Bearing is a name that you're going to hear a lot when weapon shopping because, well, they make everything from pistols and assault rifles to railguns and even capital-class turrets. Now, if you're looking for a sleeker kinetic pistol, the LH-80 LH86 by Gemini is probably a good fit. Again, it's a futuristic take on the current day designs with a bit of sci-fi flair. Gemini is also one of the other major manufacturers in Star Citizen, producing several personal weapons in a variety of classes. You'll know it's a Gemini gun by their distinctive blue circular ring on the side of the weapon. All of their designs are sleek and clean with lots of interesting mechanical bits. Now, the final pistol that's currently available in the verse is the Coda, a hard-hitting 50 caliber truck of a gun by Castak Arms. This manufacturer is somewhat known as the outlaw's choice for guns and armor. They advertise themselves as the underdog manufacturer, even though they're as much of a titan as any other major corporation. The Coda pistol features an interesting take on the revolver designs of today, integrating the cylinder, which basically doubles as the magazine, into the frame of the gun with a mechanically operated cover. And if you're wondering about its performance, it's basically the 44 Magnum of Star Citizen. Now, let's bump up a little bit in size. The SMGs of Star Citizen are going to be popular choices for just general combat, especially when it comes to close quarters and ship boarding. The Custodian by Castak Arms is one of my favorites. It's like a chunky P90 from the future. It's a laser-based weapon that features 3 fire modes: full auto, burst, and a charged burst. You get a ton of rounds, making it...
Oh, I didn't know it. I forgot about all the different ways to use it. I just used the standard.
Great for downing multiple targets before needing to ever reload. The magazine is top-loaded with a very intricate clamping system. Now, the other laser SMG in the verse, the Lumen V by Claus and Werner, takes things a bit more into the future. The barrel of the weapon is flanked by top and bottom rails, giving it a cyberpunk aesthetic, and the pistol grip seems to be integrated to some sort of potentially ring accelerator, gyro stabilizer, I don't know, but it looks sci-fi and cool. Honestly, I love the look of this gun. It is, however, limited to a 5-round burst mode, so keep that in mind when choosing it. Now, Gemini's C54 SMG is elegant as heck. Currently,
people swear by this thing. Apparently, in the most recent patch in the PTU, it got nerfed or something.
In heavy use by the Nine-Tail Syndicate. Its sleek design carries over the rounded design cues from the LH86 pistol.
I hate it.
It also shoots kinetic ammunition instead of lasers. Its compact design makes it an ideal personal defense weapon. And then finally, there is the very affordable P8SC. This is Bearing's entry in the SMG class, shooting 10mm rounds and featuring 2 fire modes, automatic and burst. It looks like Star Citizen's version of a UMP-45. It's a no-frills, straight-to-business weapon that's become the standard issue SMG for the UEE Marines. Now, let's bump things up a notch. Assault rifles represent some of Star Citizen's most popular guns, and Bearing's P4AR is arguably one of the most ubiquitous lead slingers in the verse. Despite its plain, frankly G36C knockoff design, the P4 features some very nice design touches. It has a reciprocating charging handle that cycles as you fire, while spent casings realistically fly out of the ejection port. In fact, one of the crazier details in Star Citizen is that the bullets are individually modeled and physically based. So when you fire a gun in this game, the projectile is actually fired physically from the gun model. You can even see the bullets as they're loaded into the chamber while it's firing.
It's insane.
Now, if you want to get a bit more futuristic, I recommend picking up Castak Arms' Chonky Karna rifle. It shoots plasma rounds in 3 different firing modes: full auto, burst, and charge mode.
The Karna's
and when
so
charging,
sweaty.
the guard around the barrel slowly retracts, revealing a port that you can see the plasma building up in. It's a big gun for getting big jobs done. The Gallant by Claus and Werner is another laser weapon that looks like a bigger version of its Lumen brother. It features the same accelerator design built into the grip, however its barrel is significantly beefier, which I assume makes the lasers more pew-pewy? I have no idea if lasers are caliber based or what. Now, the Gallant also features a cool venting animation to dissipate heat when firing in either its 3-round or 5-round burst modes. Now, the last assault rifle that's currently in Star Citizen is the Gemini S71. And there's definitely no mistaking the manufacturer of this weapon. It scales up all the design cues of the C54 into a full-sized 5mm semi-auto ballistic rifle. The top carrying handle also makes this design look almost identical to the XM8 prototype developed by the US military in the late 90s. And unlike the C54, this assault rifle is not taking the compact design approach. Now, I think it's time to get a little more personal, like with a weapon that's meant for up-close combat. The shotguns of Star Citizen make for some excellent Swiss cheese machines. One of the more frightening looking ones, the Ravager 212, takes the double-barrel designs of today and encases them in some sort of kit bash sci-fi 12-gauge meat tenderizer.
It's so ridiculous.
The weapon even has exposed wiring on the side, which is kind of wild. Plus, it can switch between a single and double shot, and I gotta say it's pretty easy to recognize these Castac Arms guns. The Ravager lacks that refined futuristic flair of other manufacturers. It has that crazy chonky exterior and packs a punch and a half. And you know what? Castac Arms likes shotguns so much, they made another one called the Devastator. Like their assault rifle, this one is plasma-based and functions via pump action. It's also a break-action shotgun with the reload animation revealing a massive internal magazine tube that you replace to add new ammo. Also, like Castac's Karna rifle, the guard around the Devastator's barrel retracts as you charge it, revealing the building plasma charge. It's just a lot of fun in one gun. Now, Bearing's take on a 12-gauge pump-action shotgun, the BR2, features a drum magazine. And the no-frills design of the BR2 is par for the course when it comes to Bearing. Their weapons could easily be mistaken for modern-day firearms, and I think that's kind of the point. If you want something that feels a little closer to home with that traditional pump action,
remember when
go
you could
grab
shoot
yourself
railgun
the
rounds
BR2.
out of this thing?
Gemini's R97 shotgun, on the other hand, is quite interesting.
But this
it's
is the
also
best
a
gun.
12-gauge, however, it features semi-auto fire and has a very interesting under-barrel reloading mechanism. It's almost like a reversed breech-loading shotgun. There's two firing modes that give you either the typical shotgun shell spread or a focused single shot that gives you more range. And it's a fun idea having a shotgun that can potentially change its range on the fly. Now, of course, Star Citizen is a big game with large outdoor areas, and you may want to take out your opponents before they even realize that they're in a fight, which brings us to sniper rifles. Unfortunately, there aren't a lot of situations where sniper rifles feel all that necessary, but the game was recently upgraded with AI nav mesh tech, which allows NPCs to walk around on planet surfaces instead of just inside bunkers and caves.
True.
So I expect to see the use cases for these guns increase a lot. Let's first take a look at Klausenwerner's Arrowhead semi-automatic laser rifle. It can fire both in semi-auto or a charged up shot for added damage. Like other laser weapons, the Arrowhead has all sorts of moving parts that cycle when firing to vent the heat. Aesthetically, it falls in line with the rest of the Klausenwerner guns, almost mistakable for the assault rifle. But it's a solid choice if you're looking for an adaptable sniper. Now, if you just want to shoot some lead, the 50 caliber
and this is still the go-to, right? Everyone's just P6LR at Jumptown.
P6LR by Bearing offers a lot of damage per shot. Again, with Bearing's more traditional take on weapons, this one features an 8-round removable mag and a pretty long effective range. No frills, just kills. Gemini's offering in this weapon class, the AO3, is extremely sleek and futuristic in its design. And while it might not hit as hard as some of the other snipers, it carries a lot of ammo per mag, and sometimes you just want to put holes in stuff. The reload animation also features a pretty slick mechanism that captures the magazine. Now, if you're looking for a horse of a different color, the AZTCAV sniper rifle by Lightning Bolt is an electron weapon like the little Ubera pistol. It has one of the more unique cycle animations with the barrel charging between shots, and almost every part of the gun seems to have some sort of animation related to firing or reloading. And just like the Ubrev, the AZTCAV shots also chain lightning to nearby targets. Distance between enemies can be a little hard to gauge at long range, but if you happen on a cluster of NPCs, the AZTCAV can soften them up pretty quickly. Certainly one of the cooler looking weapons in my opinion. Rounding out the sniper rifles, we have the Castac Arms Scalpel. Awkwardly named considering the look and features of the weapon, this one is a select fire ballistic sniper rifle that can do single shot or burst fire. Tough to say how useful burst is going to be at range, but the gun's aggressive design and intricate mechanical functions give it some serious presentation points. Now, if you're like me and you just want to start blasting, then you're gonna need an LMG.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for the most bullets per magazine, well, grab yourself Gemini's sleek but mean
F55's insane.
This bad boy boasts 150 rounds, 6 rotating barrels, and a fire rate that will make your eyes water. The F-55 is reloaded with a drum magazine, making reloads relatively quick given the insane amount of ammo you can burn through. The main drawback for this gun is the 6 rotating barrels that spin up minigun style, which means it can take a little bit of time to get up to speed. Not ideal for a PvP situation, but PvE, you got plenty of ammo to work with. Now, if you're looking for something a bit more sci-fi, check out the D'Amico Laser LMG by Claus and Werner.
I like this one.
D'Amico. I'm not sure how you pronounce the name of this weapon, but it does take the same design cues from the other weapons from this manufacturer and puts it into an LMG package. And it's kind of funny, but it even sports a top handle. I would assume, since it's clearly taking after real-life LMGs such as the M249, that the handle is for swapping barrels when they get too hot, though I don't think they've integrated that mechanic into the game. It also happens to have one of the more ornate cycle and reload animations of all the automatic weapons in the verse. I know this one is a fan favorite. Now, of course, what weapon class would be complete without an option from Bearing?
But this is my go-to right now.
FS9.
The whole thing right now is that bullet penetration through shields. Like anytime you come across anybody who's in a ship, you're able to shoot at them while they're in the ship when you have ballistics. So this is my LMG go-to.
Is your straightforward 120 round light machine gun. It sacrifices the insane rate of fire from, say, the F-55 and is rewarded with no spin-up time when shooting. So if you get surprised or run into a group of enemies, there's no waiting for the barrel to spin up before you get to maximize your rate of fire. Personally, I love this weapon. It's great for dealing with NPCs and can definitely hold its own in PvP combat. Now, of course, I've been saving the big guns for last. That is, if you even consider some of these to be guns. When a weapons manufacturer names themselves Apocalypse Arms, it's safe to assume that they make some next level gear. And their Animus missile launcher and Scourge railguns are ship-destroying monsters. The Animus fires 3 lock-on missiles in a burst with an effective range of 2,000 meters. And while that's not a particularly long distance when you consider that ships can cover that distance in a matter of seconds, it's a different story when those ships are patrolling around, moving slowly, or just taking off. And if this thing starts shooting at you, I hope you've got that countermeasures button in an easy to access spot. Now, of course, if you don't want to give your target a chance to evade, then the Scourge railgun is the way to go. It has enough stopping power to critically wound small ships and send the message that this is a no-fly zone. It fires .937 caliber rounds and, of course, has a lengthy charge-up sequence. This is the kind of weapon that you'll find scaled up to insane proportions for use on capital-class ships. Now, if you're looking for a little more of an anti-personnel option, finally we have the GP33 mod grenade launcher by Bearing. It shoots anytime you breach anything, it's just a dumpster fire with this thing. 40mm grenades, has a revolving 6-shot drum magazine, and is great for clearing entire rooms of enemies. Just be careful because it has a 4-meter blast radius that feels real big when you're in a hurry. These can absolutely be used for ship boarding and shooting around corners. Just make sure you know how to use it before you start firing. Now, of course, we are talking about Star Citizen here, so naturally there's a ton of work-in-progress weapons as well. Volt, aka Verified Off-World Laser Technologies, is a manufacturer of 3 new
I feel like we were supposed to get those in 318?
Laser weapons that all look very unique in design. There's also stuff like non-lethal claymores, a crossbow, a portable microwave gun, heavy machine guns, and even a taser. But as with everything Star Citizen related, it's tough to say when any of these will actually make it into the game. It never touched on attachments. Now, I find Star Citizen's arsenal of weapons to be extremely impressive, top quality in their visual design, and engrossed with lore. And I really hope we get to see some more alien technologies added to the infantry weapon arsenals as well. I hope this video gives you a good overview of what you might come across in the verse and what you might want to pick up and try out for yourself. And if you're signing up for a Star Citizen account for the first time, be sure to use my referral code linked in the video description and on screen for some extra in-game credits. Also, check out my ship guide next to keep learning about Star Citizen. It covers the best ship options available and will get you off the landing pad in no time. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you next time. This is LevelCap signing off.
Nice. That was a really good video. So, yeah, I mentioned, like, hey, he didn't touch on the attachments, but that's not really the point of that video. So, that was sick, and it just, it makes me just want to get out there and start FPSing a little bit more. I'm looking forward to, out of the guns that are new, that aren't in the game yet. The taser, man. Being able to knock people but not kill them is probably, well, I guess we have that option already. I don't know. Is there even a need for a taser when you can knock people? I guess that you knock them without injury, you know? So that's pretty cool.